peace, peace. Aung San Suu Kyi says that the greatest danger for peace is fear. I'd even say the greatest danger for every human person is to be controlled by fear. A few years ago, I went for Faith and Light to a country in Latin America. I arrived at the airport and Dennis came to pick me up. And then he drove me to the capital. And on the way, he said, here on the left are all the slum areas. On the right are all the houses of the rich people protected by police and military. And then he added, nobody crosses the road. Nobody crosses the road. Everybody is frightened. Frightened of what? Frightened of the different. Fear of not understanding, fear of not being able to meet, but fear that the other will be a danger. And of course, each one has their culture. There's the culture of the rich people with their status and their importance. And then there's the culture of those who are at the bottom, who feel humiliated, who've been pushed down, who dare not cross the road. How to break down these walls of fear which prevent us meeting people, because everything is about meeting. And the danger is that our culture, our religion becomes a prison and no longer a fountain. We need a culture. We need to have a country, a language, a culture of the country, the way people live, and so on. All that is important, that we have a culture. But we can close ourselves up in the culture, in the thinking that we are the best, we are superior, we are God's own people. We think that we should have all the power and so on. We are the only ones who are right. And of course, that means that the others are no good. So culture, religion can become a prison. It is necessary, the culture. It gives security, it gives identity, it gives a point of departure to deepen. But danger, if it becomes a prison of fear, and no longer a fountain, well then we no longer see ourselves as a member of the human family. We think we are the only ones. So the whole question is how to let drop these walls of fear between people, these walls of fear around my own heart, because I know I'm better than you. In one of our communities in L'Arche, a number of years ago, we welcomed Pauline. Pauline, she arrived at the age of 40. She had hemiplegia, one leg paralyzed, one arm paralyzed, epileptic, diabetic. But what was specific with Pauline was her anger. She was enraged. And we had a very good psychiatrist who helped us to understand her, because the question is to understand in order to meet. He helped us to see that Pauline had been humiliated, pushed down. Her family didn't want a woman like that, a child like that. They wanted somebody beautiful, could have children and all the rest. She was humiliated at school. She was laughed at. She was despised in the streets, looked down upon. And of course, she began to despise herself. She began even to hate her body. And one can understand. It was her body with her disabilities that meant that she was angry. She was angry to have a body like that, which was the cause of all the despisal, the laughter, and the way she was pushed down. Our psychiatrists help us to see that her violence was a cry, to understand the language of violence. Her violence was saying, is there anyone who loves me, who can trust me, and who can see under my handicaps, under my violence, who I am. Because that's what it means to meet someone. Not to just see somebody that they belong to another culture, but to see under their culture, under their difficulties, under maybe their angers or their desire to flee, or you are beautiful. You are precious. You are someone. You are a human being under all the handicaps of Pauline. Under her violence, there's her person. There's her heart. And the whole reality is to meet Pauline as a human person. But there is fear. And that's why places like L'Arche are places where we learn to love. Assistants come, obviously. They come to L'Arche. They've heard that at L'Arche there are people who have disabilities, and they come to do good. They come sometimes with their diplomas. They have a knowledge of a certain superiority. They think they are better. They come from a culture where they feel that they should succeed and all the rest. But to meet Pauline, you mustn't meet her as somebody who is better than her. To meet a human person just as you are, under your violence, under the culture, under her handicaps, there is you, and you are a person. And to help discover that person, you are more beautiful than you dare believe. So peace is to learn to meet people. To meet people means humility. My group is not the best group. You are who you are with your culture. But you are a member of the human family, that huge human family which unites us all together. Whatever our culture, whatever our disabilities, whatever our abilities, we are just human beings. And to discover that we can meet, because this is what it is, two people, in their humility or their poverty, with their gifts, to meet, just as two people who belong to the human race. But that is not just talking about peace as going through cultures and so on. There's also in our own family. I mean, to be a peacemaker is know how to forgive. Maybe I have hurt you, maybe you have hurt me. And so we're separated. We don't speak to each other anymore. We see you as somebody no good. Peace can only come if we know that the only road to peace is acceptance of you as a human being. The only road to peace is forgiveness. You have forgiven me and I have forgiven you. But forgiveness is a road. It takes time to accept the other as they are, with their sufferings and their difficulties. Peace is never to be enclosed as a prison in my culture or my group. It's the discovery that every person is important, and to meet, which means a certain humility, to be open to the other who is different. And it's only this way that we can find peace in our families, in our cities, in our countries, and in our world. To meet people who are different and to see you as a beautiful human being.